This is Mark Bell from SuperTraining.tv, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West, answering more questions today for the Power Project. But before I get to that, we got a slingshot to give out. We had someone get the cliffhanger question right. Who is Mitch Kumstein? Mitch Kumstein is Chevy Chase's roommate in the movie Caddyshack. Remember, he goes on that random talk with his caddy and tells him the story of Mitch Kumstein. Anyway, person who got that right, the person who wins the slingshot is Bob Moyer. Bob Moyer, email me at supertraining06@yahoo.com. Tell me which color slingshot you want, black, red, or blue. Tell me how much you bench, tell me how much you weigh, and tell me how strong you are. And that way I can help you pick out the size. I also need your address so I can ship it to you. We got a great question to get to for the Power Project today. It comes from Cheeseman182 off of YouTube. Cheeseman has a question about, he was watching SuperTraining.tv and he heard me make a comment about Big Bird, saying that Big Bird is starting to understand what it's going to take to squat 900 pounds, and he wanted me to elaborate on that a little bit. First off, let me backtrack a little bit and start out by saying that Big Bird is a very tough individual, one of the tougher guys that we have in the gym. From a mental standpoint, he is somebody that has overcome cancer more than once, and I have a lot of respect and admiration for the things that he's gone through in his life. Now, in terms of sports, in terms of lifting weights, or in terms of playing football or something like that, it's really hard to build success without some success. So if you go out and you play football and you're a kid and you get drilled in the ribs and it hurts like a mofo, then odds of you coming back the next day and wanting to perform better are probably going to be pretty slim, unless you have some really dying passion to play football, or unless you're really competitive, someone stuck it to you and now you want to stick it back to them. Maybe you come back and you have a better day. But this whole thing about success breeding success is very true. When I look at the athletes that are in my gym, the best athletes have always been the best athletes. They have had some success somewhere else. They have had many pats on the back before for other sports, for other things, for baseball, basketball, football. And when they walk in the gym, and even though super training is new to them, even though the methods are new to them, they don't walk up to the squat bar like, oh, I don't know. They get fired up. And Big Bird is a person that was in a BMX world for years, and now he's a coach. Now he's coaching BMXers in my gym, in super training, using the conjugate system, and having a ton of success. So Big Bird's a guy that has built a lot of success. However, he's not achieved a ton of success in powerlifting until more recently. And again, success breeds success. He got an elite total, something he's been chasing for a long time. He was able to bench over 500 pounds. When he did that, I said, you're ready for 6. And that made something in his head click. And that something in his head was like, he thought to himself, why am I putting restraints on myself? Why am I my own worst enemy in a way? And so by me telling him that he can bench 600 pounds, he thought, hey, you know what? Mark has seen a lot of guys lift weights, and he feels that in the future here, in a short period of time, I'm going to be ready for a 600-pound bench. I better start to put the work in that's necessary to bench 600 pounds. There's a certain amount of work that needs to be done if you want to stay the same. There's a certain amount of work that needs to be done if you want to be good. There's a certain amount of work that needs to be done if you want to be great. And there's a certain amount of work that needs to be done if you want to be an all-time great. In a Big Bird's case, he realizes there's a certain amount of work that needs to be done to squat 900 pounds. It's not just going to happen, it has to be forced. And it's also not just mental toughness. And it's not just physical toughness. It's the two coming together. It's you realizing that when that weight is loaded on the bar, that it's going to look intimidating, it's going to feel intimidating, it's going to hurt, it's going to test and challenge every fiber of your body from the mental side to the physical side. Your mental side, you have to tell yourself over and over again, this is going to be a war. This is going to be a battle. And whatever you have to tell yourself, whatever lie you got to make up to yourself to tell you that it's going to feel good, then go ahead and use that. And what I mean by that is sometimes you'll hear guys say, come on, man, lightweight. This is light. This is easy. This is a joke. This weight's a joke. You've done it before. Now, what happens if you haven't done it before? What happens if you haven't done it before? How do you figure out how to get there? Is there a map? Is there a map to squat 900 pounds? I remember reading an article by Louis Simmons years ago. I think it was by Louis Simmons. How to bench 600 pounds easy. And I flipped out. I was like, how to bench 600 pounds easy? 600 pounds is hard. 600 pounds is impossible. What was he talking about? But Louis Simmons built the environment. And that's what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to get around like-minded people. You're going to need to get around people that will do the things that are necessary when they have to be done to get to 900 pound squat, to get to the next level. You don't want to go to a doctor and have him open your body up, or let's say he opens up, this happened to me, say he opens up your dad, and he goes, oh, we've never seen that before. And that's when I said, you know, screw this doctor, we need to get to somebody that has seen this before. It's the same thing with weights, it's the same thing with sports. There's going to be different levels of people out there, different levels of coaches, different levels of doctors. Get around the best. Find the best. When somebody talks about squatting 900 pounds, they talk about squatting 8 or 9 plates on each side of the bar. You don't want them to go, oh, we've never seen that before. Or, oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, no one in here has ever really done that before. I don't think it's going to happen. Get around people that are better. Get around people that want to be better. Get around people that want to make you better. And tell people that. Make yourself accountable. I'll text Jesse Burdick. I'll text Big Bird. I'll text Juan Laiha. I'll text these guys, Treston Shaw. I'll text these guys a lot of times, especially Big Bird lately. I'll text them. I'll say, here's the 5 things that I want to do today. Let's make sure they get done. There's a certain amount of work that needs to be done if you want to be good, a certain amount of work that needs to be done if you want to be great, and so on. The better you want to be, the more work that needs to be done. And I'm not just talking about doing 8 or 9 or 10 exercises in one day. That is not what I'm talking about at all. I'm not talking about training twice a day. I'm not talking about any of that kind of stuff. I'm talking about putting yourself on the line each and every time that you go to train, and training like a savage, and making your training represent yourself and the way that you feel on the inside, and the way that you want people to perceive you. I don't really care if somebody perceives me as a badass. It doesn't really make me feel any better. It's kind of stupid in a lot of ways. I'm not a tough guy. I don't really care about that stuff. Although I will build that tough guy persona going into a lift because I need it. Remember what I said earlier? Tell whatever lie you have to tell yourself before you do your lift. I tell myself I'm the baddest MFer on the face of the planet before I go and do my lift. That's just the way I like to think. I like to think that I'm indestructible, and that I'm tough, and that I'm sturdy, and that I'm strong, both mentally and physically. And that nothing will shake me, nothing will rattle me, that I can come back from whatever happens, and so on. But you got to challenge yourself, you got to test yourself, you got to push yourself to the limit, and success breeds success. That's why the Donnie Thompson squat cycle is so effective. That's why Donnie Thompson broke world records in the squat. That's why Donnie Thompson broke world records in the total. I had somebody a few weeks ago say he's not the strongest powerlifter of all time. Okay, we can argue that. I think the strongest powerlifter of all time is Ed Cohn. But I also have a lot of respect for what Donnie has done. I have a lot of respect for what Stan has done. I have a lot of respect for what Brad Gillingham has done, and so on. But Donnie Thompson has the highest total of all time, which is 3,000 pounds. You can look it up. He's got that number. And he has that number for a reason. Because he's sick in the head. He's nuts mentally. You got to be a little bit psychotic in a way to be able to push yourself that hard for that long. and you're going to have to become an egotistical maniac in some ways. Donnie Thompson is very nice. He's very kind. He's very giving. But we all know that him, and just like any other great athlete, they have to kind of build an ego, myself included. And I'm not even on the same, in this mention in the same breath as Donnie Thompson, strength-wise. But you get what I'm saying here. Success breeds success. Don't make too big of jumps in the gym. Don't miss lifts in the gym, but at the same time, challenge yourself. It's okay to miss a little bit here and there. Instead of making these huge jumps, I suggest for everybody out there, pretty much from now on till the day you die, you get to 75% in the gym, except for maybe the more experienced lifters. You get to about 75% of your max, add 20 pounds. Add 20 pounds so you get to about 90%, and then just add 10 pounds. Build success. Make your lifts. Do them the right way. You're not going to get locked up and thrown in jail just for doing something the right way. Do it right the first time. You won't have to try to do it a second time. And that is it from supertraining.tv. Later.